Hey there, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm Teresa Moon with RB Advisory, and I'm here with my CEO, Regine Bonneau. We are going to be talking today in our second part to our series on the pathway to CMMC, which is the new certification guidelines for cybersecurity in relation to federal contractors. So we know there's a lot of you out there. Some of you might not even know that this pertains to you. So we're going to try to keep you updated as frequently as possible, give you some quick tips and some ways to navigate so that this is not a scary process. Yes. Because if you have some partners who can walk you through the steps, it can be quick and painless and to the point that you need it to be. So we'll get started. And today we want to talk a little bit about what that pathway looks like and how not to get bogged down in remediation. And what that means is if you actually have gotten wise to the fact that you need to consult with an expert about these certifications, once you have that in place, that group will put together a remediation plan for you. And from remediation to implementation, we've seen companies get bogged down in that process. And so what I wanted to talk to Regine about as an expert in this process is why this happens to a small business. How do they get caught in that gap right there? So Regine, if you wouldn't mind, talk a little bit about how remediation to implementation to final certification, why that has been an issue.
Hi, Teresa, again. Thank you very much for having me. But, we've actually spoken about this, and what we're saying is that a lot of people see that, let's wait for certification. Certification is most likely a 3 to 5 day engagement, whereas remediation implementation can be a 6 months to 8 months journey. And that journey can be extended depending on what is it that you're looking for, the status of your company, where your company is on a whole infrastructure itself, not just from the IT portion, but also on the governance and risk and compliance and the business directive, right? So when you look at the gap assessment, right, which is your first gap analysis, people call it that way as well, or is your first step to actually understanding what do you have and what you don't have. And what we're running into when we're doing this, again, those are more small engagement timeline, 3 to 6 days, sorry about that. 3 to 6 days, and getting that assessment fully, and that's depending on what you have and if we don't have it. Sometimes it's a no, and it's like a 1 day engagement. But now the real work comes and putting all of these in place. When you're looking at what are those requirements when it comes to remediation, not only are you looking to get solutions, which is softwares on top of what is going to help you meet what we call access control, right? How are you going to properly assign those roles and responsibilities, realigning roles and responsibilities within your employees, right? To really understand what they should or should not have access to on your platform. And so that takes a time, right? Imagine if you didn't have that. If you don't have those specifications where everyone has access to everything, now we have to sit down and remove all these access and now put them back together. And that's a process of its own.
I think that that's a perfect place there to pivot to the next part of this in the sense of you talked about time and time being of the essence. And number two, the process of when you went through that gap analysis that things came up that people weren't aware of.
Yes.
So I think that that's what we spoke of earlier about being the biggest issue. Small to mid-sized businesses, we're functioning in the realm every day of doing what we do best and knowing 100% about that. And then we shift to digital transformation and CMMC and all of these great little terms that are being coined all over the place. And we think because business is operating as usual that we're safe.
No,
and that's not the case.
That's not the case. And within this realm itself, the NIST 800-171, we've done this. We've already been on this journey. Okay, so let me see what you've done already. Nothing. So if you've already been in this journey, you should have at least 110 controls within the family already implemented, right? Because we're like 5 years in. So why not? Nothing of that sort. So this is where when we're sitting down and say, this is a 6 months to 8 months project, depending on where you are. Policies alone, you're looking at close to 100 and something policies, right? So who's going to sit down and write those, right? And how long that's going to take, that's a task upon itself.
Right.
And those are what's also going to start driving where the company is going and what they do next, right? So you're using what you put in place into the policies, and we'll call it mapping, because the policies needs to match what actually is going on within the infrastructure itself. So.
And that isn't a revenue generated activity, doing all of that.
No.
So what's the cost to the business then for waiting?
There's a lot of costs, right? We always say time is money, right? Time is cost. Now we know there's a deadline. So we're already in July. By the time we blink, July will be over. So we have 6 months, maybe 5 months now to get things ready. And by the time December comes around, we don't know what the new changes would be. Why should we sit around and change? Then you also, what we've experienced, actually a couple of weeks ago, we were in conversation with another company, and they received a letter from a Prime. The Prime told them they're not renewing their contract because of the service they provide to the Prime is a CMMC level 3 they need to be, right? And on top of that, if they don't show that they've already done or started implementation or done implementation, they're not going to renew it by the time December comes around. That's $750,000 that this company is looking to lose in one contract. That's one contract with one company,
which could be devastating. So
for
I think
small business, right?
So I think that's
yes.
the perfect way to wrap up
Yes.
this conversation
Yes.
is the fact that we have a small business who is counting on this as their revenue stream, and it's going to be stripped because of the fact that they aren't in compliance
Yes.
to the level that they need to be, even though they're going to be required to. So I think best bet for you right now is to reach out to certified and qualified experts like Regine Bonneau, RB Advisory. Reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all of the social media accounts. We are here to help you through your CMMC navigation. We hope you have a great day, and we'll be back very soon to give you more tips.
See you soon. Thank you.